So this is how I remove the upper wishbone for changing the bushes while everything's, the subframe's still in the car, and without having to drop that down. So first thing I've got to do is undo 2 bolts, both sides. Get along the bar if you need to. I read quite a lot of forums on how you had to drop the subframe, but I was able to do the other side of the car, so I'm going to show you now how to undo it. So I've got both nuts off both sides. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use, I made a homemade sort of cylinder with a plate on the end. I welded this up. You're going to need this to be able to basically pull the spindle out with the bush on it against the arm. So with both nuts undone, should happen. Need to have some WD-40 on it just to, hopefully it's not going to be stuck in there. Do the other side for later. The other side's got to be done out of the car. Might put a washer in there. And some WD-40 on the thread, just so it doesn't bind up. Now I would like to try and get a washer in here, but there's no room. So the washer I made up, basically it's a washer with a slot in it, where I can slot it in behind the bush, but there's no room at the moment. I could probably, yeah, it's a bit too thick to get in there. But if we start it and it actually moves, then there will be some space. So just keep a pretty good eye on it just to see if I can get it to move. Because the other side's free, it shouldn't be compressing the wishbone, it should just move out. So basically I'm hoping the rubber inside the bush is going to help it pull out. Got to be careful with things binding up too. At this point the arm is binding against the top subframe. I'd probably allow a little bit of pressure there just to see if it'll go. But I don't want to bend the arm, so I won't put too much on it. Undo it and see what it looks like, see if it's moved at all. You can see here that basically when I pulled this, it's pulled the rubber out, because the rubber is what's being pushed on the shaft. That's okay, because now I can get the washer in, because now the rubber's moved. So I'm just going to have to go and straighten this up because I've bent it from my last pull, and see how we go with that. Okay, straighten my washer, see if I can get it in. It's a bit tight. What I might be able to do is use this to press the other side over a bit so I can get a gap. It's a bit more difficult than the last one I've done, but that's okay. Try and push that arm over a bit. Yeah. That works. Perfect. So now I can get this washer in on the collar. Yep, it's there. Just make sure it's properly there. Hopefully it won't need too much pressure. I'll take this off the other side. This back over there again. I'm running out of room because of the rubber, but it might compress up. If it doesn't, I'll have to cut it off. I'm just watching to see if it's moving on the arm. Which it is. I'm lucky again. I'm putting some new control arms in, the UC arms. The UC arms that I got, I couldn't get the bushes out like this, so hopefully your car's okay as well. But these are coming out just fine. And we only have to get one of these off. I choose the back one for no reason. Okay, I've run out of room on the space inside my puller, so I'll probably have to cut the rubber off. Or if you want to make a second longer puller, you can do that too. And now you can see it's moved. Still got a little way to go. I think I'll cut the rubber off, would be the easiest thing to do. My washer dropped out, that's okay. Got heaps of room there now because it's moved. It's sitting there behind. Heaps of room there now. The other thing, I've made myself a few tools. This one can go in here. Because the bush has already started, it's a lot easier now. Still not much room for that to pull. So I will cut the rubber off. Just going to make it easy. Okay, tried to cut the rubber off. That's pretty hard work. So I sort of forgot what I did on the other side of my car, but yep, it's pretty easy. So what we do is we put the washer back in underneath. Probably hang it upside down so it doesn't fall out. Okay, that's good. Put this back on. And I've got these two nuts. Basically I just like spacers, so I'm just going to put one in here just to hold the puller off the arm. I'm sure there's many ways we can do this, but this works okay. Just a spacer, and because the bush has already started, it's going to be pretty easy anyway. Good. So the arm's getting quite close there. I know it's touching. So it's a bit tricky. So I've made this spacer up. It's made from a old bush that I had laying around. It's exactly the same bush that we're trying to push out. So the same washer that I've got sits on the collar. It's going to go there, and the spacer is going to go in here, and this edge here is going to push against the bush. So, but to get this extra space, I had to put the puller on the other side again to push it through. It's not for the faint-hearted, it takes some time to do it. So this is now going to fit in, I hope. Yes, that does fit. That's good, that's in. So I'll put the puller off again, put it on the other side. Process. I have to use my nuts, those spacers again because I'm running out of room. Running out of a lot of room. I think I'm going to have to cut that rubber off. It's just going to be hard work. Alright. Okay, I finally got it off. So here's the bush. You can see I pulled it out with the motor grips. When I got far enough, I grabbed it like that, just yanked it out. But basically what we were doing was, if you couldn't see it, this one here sits on a collar on the shaft, and it's pushing against, the arm is getting pushed like this off. So we're basically moving the arm across, really, and the bush just comes out. So yeah, you're gonna have to make yourself some tools to do this. These ones at a minimum. I can put some dimensions of this up on the video. I sort of made a bit of a mistake. I probably shouldn't have pushed that rubber through at the start as much as I did, because it made it hard to get space on the puller. Alright, that was pretty much the easy part. That took me about an extra half an hour since I turned the video off. Right now, you can't get this arm off because it's trapped on the pin. So the hard part is basically to undo these two bolts, nuts at the back, and then take this pin off, and then that way you can maneuver the pin and get it out of the arm, and then the arm will come off. But to get that off is quite tricky. I found you can get it off, it's tight, but you have to undo this panel because there's no room for that pin to slip off the bolts. Pretty poor design. Would have been easier if these bolts came out this way. It would have been so simple. But anyway, that's what we got. So I got the nuts off the back. Basically I had to undo this, get this panel loose. There's one bolt there and two bolts at the front. I didn't undo the one sort of under the radiator. didn't seem to need it, just sort of pushed out of the way. So those, I did these nuts from the back here, basically just like this in the back, but on the other side I had to do them from in the engine bay. You can, if you got a large motor in there like mine, it's pretty hard work. You got to take the spark plug leads off, but this side was a bit easier. Okay, so now let's disconnect. It's loose, so we're going to have to get it off the back of the bolts to lift it up. There you go, it's off. So the bar's off. It's a bit tricky to do the rest, but you take it out fully that way, and it should pretty much come out through where our bush was. So that's the reason you need to get one side off. Oh, and I should have taken note of where the shims were. Usually they pack shims behind here, behind there. Doesn't matter, mine's going to be wheel lined soon anyway, but I will put them back in. So now, basically, I'm going to push this one out with a bush press kit. I'm going to put one of the new ones in here, and I'm going to do the reverse of what I just did. So I'm going to put a new bush in here, put it all back in, feed it in through, and I'm going to have to press the new bush into this side in the car. Can't be done out of the car. Okay, I'm just tightening it up now. I've nearly got it tight. Just remember to put your shims back in. They look a bit like that. And they sit usually behind that bolt, behind the tower. So slip them in there. And one on the other side, do them up, and then we'll be ready to push the other bush in. As you can see, I've got one bush here already. Now we're going to put the new bush in. You can see I've got the new bush there, just started there. The other one's already in, that was done out of the car. I've got the bolt undone. I've got this piece of pipe that I made up, helps me slip in here. This is a spacer, so that this control arm doesn't get squashed up against the ribbing, doesn't get squashed up against the tower. With a nut, and we should be able to press it in just with that. Put that spacer in there. That should be enough to get that through. Keep working at that until it gets in to the right length. It is moving, so that's good. So I've pressed it in as far as my spacer will allow, and the amount of thread on the shaft. I've run out of space, so I'll just put in some more washers, basically. Make sure these threads have got oil on them, otherwise you might bind them up, and that's not good. So I'll put a washer in from the other side, and another washer that I have, a couple of washers that I have laying around for the purpose. Just one will do. I'll need another small one. No, doesn't fit. I'm lucky enough to have some spare washers from the spare control arm that I got. Okay, looks like it might have gone as far as it can on the shaft, so I'm going to have to get some more spacer in here. As you can see, it's just a bit of trial and error. You can feel when it's not going to go any further, so you just don't force it. Take the spacer out and we'll see what I'm talking about, maybe. It's still got to be pushed a bit further. So basically, I'll just So I've finally been able to press mine in. Basically, putting the spacer in here, putting washers to pack out the spacer a bit, just because I don't have multiple spacers. And I've got it pretty much in. Mine won't look like yours because I'm using olefin bushes and they don't push right in, but the OEM bushes will push right in, so there's no space. Just undo this and then I can do it both sides. Should be right. Pretty good. So a lot of mucking around, but you can do it.